I hit the live button and I didn't realize it. That's okay. So today's going to be pretty simple. We're not going to be getting into the deep core of Lego collectors or the deep core of the toxicity or the good things about the community or the bad thing about the community. I'm just going to talk about customization features for Lego minifigures. Something simple that won't lead into me criticizing anybody for their buying habits. There's been some flack about that, and that's okay. So, how do you build a mock? Hey, Luggage, how's it going, man? How do you build a mock? Do you sit down in studio and you get to work? Do you take out some graph paper? Do you start drawing and going for it? And do you just like hope for it, or what do you do? How do you build a mock? I'm good, Luggage. Thank you very much, sir. How are you today? And you do those things, and you plot out this spaceship, or you plot out this car, or you plot out this building, or you plot out this, you plot out that, whatever. Okay. To me, Hey, Linz, please don't die, Lindsay. Don't. Oh boy. So, when I'm building a mock, I tend to think of the minifigure first when it comes out to how I'm going to do things. So, we'll take one of my smallest mocks that I've made that I've been a super fan of forever. So, this is going to be really simple. I apologize if my hands are shaky. I'm having one of those days with my arthritis. So I'm doing the best that I can with what I got, which ain't much. So I've had the Ninja Turtles for a while. The last two that I got was in Bricks and Minifigures in New Mexico. Great store. You should go there if you're ever traveling across the country. But I also got Leonardo there, too. I bought him in the 2-pack with Shredder's daughter, I guess. I don't know the lore of the new Ninja Turtles. Sorry. Anywho, I got Leonardo. And for the longest time, I thought to myself, these guys need a mock, these guys need this, these guys need this, they need that, and whatever, things like that, right? And so it was recently, this year as a matter of fact, that I got into an action figure line called NECA, or a company called NECA, and they make awesome figures. And they made Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles time and time again. They've made Ninja Movie Turtles, they've made video game Ninja Turtles, they've made cartoon Ninja Turtles, and then they made the TMNT in time figures. And I bought Leonardo and Donatello, and basically I was done at that point. I was like, okay, I'm all set. And I'm good there. And I was like, well, why can't my turtles? So this is what I came up with. It's just a simple mock from a very favorite level in the game, a couple of levels where you're riding on a board or surfboard or something like that. And the minifigure made the mock in this case, right? So that was great in my opinion. I loved it. Minifigures have to fit what you're going to be building with, right? Like if you're going to be building a town, your minifigures are going to look pretty somewhat normal. I build a lot of superhero stuff that I don't really get into or show what I'm building unless I complete it. It's just one of those things. But when we first got the Joker sets, the Steamroller set, I think that's what this is from. It came with a Joker figure. Awesome, dude. Those are great. And I just modified him a little. Give him a gun, give him a hat. I was thinking of 89 Batmobile. Of the 89 Batman movie. This was done years ago. Because, he's got the Joker jacket on and whatever, right? Before the 89 Batmobile came out, they did release a somewhat Jack Nicholson-looking Joker. One of the few Jokers that's not double-faced, like double-sided. So that's kind of cool, right? But if you notice his vest and everything else, it's definitely from the 89 Batman. Flat out. Years ago, when they first were doing the Batman sets, they released Arkham Asylum, they released the Batcave, they released all the things, right? All the things that you would need, and now they cost way too much money, and even the sticker sheets are insane. So I bought Nightwing on the side. It was $10. It was my first Bricklink order, and I was like, oh man, what am I doing? Like $10 for a minifigure. And so I got him, and and I modified him and all that. I disagree with you. Heath was my favorite Joker, but that's neither here nor there. And so I got that Nightwing, and he's in a box, and he doesn't go out because I don't want to, crack him anymore. He's got some cracks on the sides, but the one thing that I noticed about the character, all right, well, just be careful, Lindsay. Don't die. And Nightwing didn't have a belt, and it bothered me that he didn't have a belt, because in the comics, he's got the belt, he's got the wrist guards, he's got all the things, right? So I took a Extreme Team member, and I took the leg part off, and I made a belt. Good, Lindsay. Glad that you are home. And the belt, creates an X and everything else, and it just works. It's just simple touches like that that can change a minifigure to be more along the lines that you would like. A while ago, Lex Luthor was released through GameStop, and they gave him the power armor and they gave him all the stuff and things like that and blah blah blah, right? Okay. But they gave him like the stupidest gun ever, in my opinion. I didn't like the gun. I hated it, as a matter of fact. I know they were trying to go for this is how the game looks, but I couldn't stand it. So I did what I had to, and I gave Lex Luthor a kryptonite minigun. It's definitely got a photo-friendly side and a photo-unfriendly side. So, like that, as you can see, there's no barrel on the other end. I had to be very careful with the green part placement, but, this way Lex Luthor's got a chance against Superman. It's pretty simple. Pretty simple. The next one that we're going to cover is Damian Wayne. I hate Damian Wayne. Regardless. He always came with, like, the short, stumpy legs, like the legs that didn't bend, and they were... So he'd just be standing. And I hated that with a passion, and I couldn't stand it. So I gave him legs, but I gave him tack legs. I gave him legs that were, a little more tactical. They bend. They've got some detail on there. It added just a little bit of spice to the figure. It was not difficult to do. I've got a couple examples here, and then I've got a couple of non-examples. Take Knight's Kingdom or the Kingdom or whatever like that. I don't really build Castle. I like Castle, but I don't really build in Castle. Next to Knights was a win for me, but I mean, besides that, whatever. So we took a Knight's minifigure, I think a Knight's Kingdom, I could be wrong, and I modified him. I made him into more of a paladin along the lines of D&D, and thanks, man. And Lex Luthor is pretty fun. I might do a tutorial on that. I'm not sure yet. But yeah, it's pretty dope. He's got a white cape. He's a good guy. It's that simple. Just spruce it up just a little bit. Another one of the minifigures that I modified after a while was the Elf. I think he was from the third minifigure series, right? And the Elf was cool. Like, as a fantasy nut, I loved it. But there's just something lacking. And Lord of the Rings came out, and their weapons were gold, and I was like, well, why don't I do this? Thanks, man. And I just gave him a looser cloak, so it's not green, it's brown. He still has a weapon rack on the back so that he can sheath it, and I gave him a golden katana. Just because in my noodle, elves wouldn't be using straight up long swords or things like that. And in my mind, they'd be using a slightly curved blade because that's what they do. Just little easy things that you can do to spruce up your minifigure, This was from season, I think the 12th or 11th year that it was released. And it's a very atypical space miner. Like, nothing, right? Like, whatever, who cares about this? So, in one series of the Hidden Side, there was possessed miners. And they got drills that clipped into the arm, right? Like, just like that. It covered the whole hand. So why not add that to this figure? Did a couple of them. I think I have 3. You have yourself an awesome, space miner here. He's got, a little cyborg hand that he can drill into things, and it just adds just the smallest of touches to things, which, kind of matter, especially when you're building the mock. So the next one is an inadvertent, not meaningful. I don't mean to advertise, but I'm going to advertise a little. I'm not a sponsor. Nobody's paid me to say anything about this, but I really like this. So Brick Arms came out with the rifle from Alien. And Alien's, it was a dope movie. And I bought 20 of them. Again, not being paid to advertise, not being paid to product place. But Brickmania also sells them too. That's where I bought it from. So in turn, that Will, I believe his name is, still got money out of it. That's all that really matters. But, it came out with Space Marines. They came out with, not Space Marines, but soldiers. And they were equipped with little wimpy pistols. So, dead. So, kids play. So I thought, what better way than a pulse rifle with a machine gun and, rocket launcher on the back or a grenade launcher hooked up to it. Alien problem solved. And I did the same thing to their second wave with these guys as well. It made more sense to me to have these soldier-like figures with, hardware. This is the only time that I've ever bought third. Oh, awesome, dude. Like, I always wanted to go to one of those stores just because it'd be cool. I can never afford any of their sets, but, they're neat. So, the rifle here is awesome. I just love the rifle. I love the fact that this minifigure is equipped with a backpack or a shoulder harness or whatever that you can, wear, that you can clip to their back. They look like a real science fiction soldier for the most part, which, is pretty awesome. I kind of love it. And you can position this however you'd like and things like that. It's great. Clip to the back. Citizen Brick Cobra figure. Luggage, I haven't seen that, but I'll check it out after this, all right? And he just, it looks dope. Like, that looks great. And so, Lego released some spy minifigures a while ago from, it was the minifigure line, but it was based on Alpha Agents, right? So, Alpha Agents, I didn't get into because I missed it, just by a bunch, okay? And they came with pretty standard fare as far as equipment goes. They had the tack pants that I used on Robin that I changed up. They had the smooth backpacks in the back, much like spy packs. But again, this is another case of where a third-party situation fulfilled the need that I wanted. Because the Lego blasters look like Lego blasters. With this, it looks high-tech, like, it's a silencer maybe, and, used really well at close range, which in my headcanon, this is what this Lego minifigure would be doing. He'd be infiltrating, he'd be a lot like Splinter Cell, things like that. And, he's got a buddy. He has the second generation Space Marine pants on because, in my opinion, he'd be in the sniper position, which, taking a knee over a field and watching. And, they both have head mics so they can communicate with each other because, it makes sense to me, I guess. This was a minifigure that I made for a friend. We were playing Dungeons and Dragons, and he didn't have a mini. You're supposed to have a miniature for your stand or whatever. So he described his robe to me, and I made it. This is made out of several castle pieces, as well as some Ninjago stuff. That's where the little claw came from. And it's simple to modify a minifigure if you have the parts. And I completely get it if you don't have the parts. That's the thing, and don't get me wrong. But minifigure creation and art matters when it comes to a mock, or it matters when it comes to just to a mock, really. I'll show you what I mean by that in a minute, okay? And we're going to get into some of the CMF lines, too. this is my favorite minifigure by far that Lego's released in a long time. Just the simple diner guy. I don't know why. I'm not sure how, but I love him. I love the printing. I love the accessories. He comes with a hot dog on a plate. I have no idea where the plate is, but that's okay. And Lego does have a bit of a hard-on for police, which is, it's whatever. Kids play cops and robbers. And I've got 3 examples of police here. And, all right, so the first one is, just probably your normal, everyday, on-the-job guy. He's got a blue line there because it's supposed to resemble like a light. My good friend Adam modified that and then gave them to me. And I was like, yeah, I'll do something with it. And this is how it comes. All my normal-looking cop guys have a blue line across their visors, just because. And then this was a helicopter pilot or motorcycle, I can't remember, but they came with a simple helmet. It was a simple white helmet. It didn't have police written across the top of it. That bothered me a lot, and so I dug through my old Lego and found it, slapped it on, and there you go. It's very simple. And then it escalated quickly, and now we've got cops with jetpacks. So, yep. I didn't modify this because I thought it was great as is. I kind of want to use this figure as maybe something of a pilot, or the legs at least, or something, but something along those lines. Alrighty. A simple modification that I'm going to do live and on camera if I have that part. I do. Okay. So, the Bounty Hunter that came out a year ago or so, maybe at the start of the year, he came with this wimpy gun. He came with a wimpy Lego blaster, right? So, that's what he had. I'm not afraid of this guy. He's got a wimpy blaster. However, one of the figures from Overwatch came with a great weapon. This would scare the hell out of me were I a criminal and were that guy chasing me down. So I took out some parts. And keeping with the theme of this figure, which is basically dressed in all black, he's a Blacktron sympathizer. There's a little symbol of that on his chest. I like how Lego sneaks that in. And you've got this guy after you now. It's a very simple blaster too. We'll break it down for you, okay? I'll even get a shot of the non. So the title there is from, I can't remember what. Oh man, my fingernails are dirty. The gun is from the Overwatch line. It's just a simple black one of Mercy's gun. One of these bad boys, you hook it to a clip with pincers at the end, take a black lightsaber hilt, throw that bad boy on top, clip it in right there. You've got a little bit of a fake digital readout right there. You arm your bounty hunter, and it's time to go hunting. It's just, it's cool, I can't wait to use it in a mock one day. So, all right, so we've got a mock build. We're going to use an example of a pre-existing set. Which is this. I forgot to put my banner up. Anyway, so whatever. This is the old adventure truck, okay? So you've got your you've got your mock build, right? You can put virtually almost anyone in here to make it fit, right? So, say the spies are going to get... Yeah, it does. Rick Arms does that. And I don't really buy the realistic weapons from them. I buy the sci-fi weapons from them, which I prefer. That's another story, though, and I don't have the time to get into it right now, so we're not going to. Oh, it's because he's got a backpack on. All right, so don't get me wrong. I love what Brick Mania does, and I love what Brick Arms does as well. It fills a need, that's for sure, but I'm not going to get too much into it. So you got two spies that are now obviously in country somewhere, and these two look like they would fit in this. Like, hey, we're all set. Got your buddy on the back. Mount like a big 50 cal or something on the back of this and make it into a sci-fi rover truck. All right, keep that in mind for later. But it's pretty simple. That's an example of a mock or set or whatever with the minifigures that would fit inside of it. The blue's a little off. You could probably do more black. But like I said, that was just for example purposes right there. So I'll show you an example of one that doesn't work. Right? They're about to go have a good time and make somebody's life hell. This is an example of a minifigure project that does not work. I can't remember the professor's name because I don't like Harry Potter. But he's the one that shape changed, and then I think you've got a Dementor in the back. This does not work. This doesn't fit. This isn't something that's going to work together. So that's just something to keep in mind when you're making a mock, is that the minifigures need to fit the mock too. As much work as you're putting into it, into creating this build and everything else, the minifigure needs to fit the mock that you're designing. So we'll take another set. I got stuff on for examples. So we'll take Spy Buddy. Boop. And now we've got a spy and a spy plane. See, it works, or whatever. It's a special birthday wish for Kirk Wilson, aka Vision Bricks. And that works with him, but if you take Batman, doesn't really mesh well, doesn't really fit, a Batman figure. It's not something that you would see him driving. Hey, it's not really well, it is kind of Bat-like if you think about it. But it just doesn't fit the mold, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. So in the giant scheme of things, when you're sitting down to build a mock, and you're thinking about how you're building, how your boat, how your plane, how your whatever is going to fit, try to keep in mind what your minifigure is going to look like. That'll make or break a mock, in all honesty. I've seen some people build some amazing things, and then the minifigure just throws it all off. Batman does have to be in the black. I do have an Instagram. If you read the notes below, I have a direct link to that, actually. So you can check me out there. It's simply Jeff McElwee, much like my name of the channel. I'm not very original. So you can check that out there. There's a lot of pictures of memes and everything else there, and I make video posts and updates about when I'm going to be making a video. It's whatever. I'm going to reiterate that I'm not in this to do anything make money or be noticed or anything like that. This is just a creative flow for me so that I can get it out there as opposed to having an itch you can't scratch. Or scratch you can't itch. Whatever. So I think that's it for today. Just when you're building something, make sure the minifigure fits. I'm going to do one more example and then we're out of here. So this is cheating. So this is a speeder. It's a pretty simple speeder. Holy crap, it's a simple speeder. This is one of my oldest creations, actually. This survived a divorce. So yeah, it's been around for a while. But the way that this helmet is positioned is designed. The way that this helmet is designed is to make it look like the rider is looking out over the bow of the speeder bike. So we tried to do that. And it's got a whole bunch of shit on the other side. Not safe for kids. Anyway, I hope you all have a wonderful day. Thank you very much for watching. Lindsay, Luggage, you guys have a great day. Appreciate y'all being here. Just once again, thanks. If you can, maybe tell your friends to have them come by. I don't know how this works. Anyway, bye. Maybe. End the broadcast, please.